either. So, I'm working on my laundry.
Alright.
And I got over patties tomorrow on my computer. I got a couple things I've got to do on it.
Yeah.
So, are you guys coming over?
No, we weren't. Do they ever send you a message saying that it's been dropped off or something?
Yes, it says it's not out for delivery yet.
Okay. He said that it did say it wasn't out for delivery yet, so he usually does get a notification saying that it has been dropped off, so but it's not out for delivery yet, so.
Okay, no problem. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they gave you a time on it or not.
No. And fuck, I forgot to. And plus you live all the way out in the boondocks, so, I mean, let's make sure they're not lost. Amazon is lost to the jungle.
Yeah, see, there's an 850 north in Clinton County, that's on rural route, but that 850 north is Frankfort rural route, and people get those confused.
Oh.
You should just follow the GPS.
Sheriff's Department gets it confused. There's a lot of times if someone around here calls in 911, we've all got, the 911 goes to Frankfort because of the towers over here. And so then they're trying to figure out where exactly, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they really get confused. They're not sure where they're going. So, I even had to help a UPS driver the other day.
Huh.
He was lost. So,
I remember it was funny, like, one of my coworkers had said one time, he's like, yeah, he's like, I drove this, like, small town called Kirkland. I was like, oh, yes, I know the town. It's right where my parents live. And he's like, I didn't know you lived that far out. And I was like, yeah. How long did it take you to get to Weibo? I said, well, I had an hour bus ride in the morning and on my way home. I was like, usually around the last one off. And he's like, oh, my gosh.
Well, Levi left with Aunt Amy and Sammy and Gabe this morning.
Oh, yeah? Where did they go?
They went to Batesville. They had a gun and pistol. You learn about the gun, the pistol, the ammo.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
they had a thing on it, and then they'll have a shooting range.
Nice.
I don't want that.
I do, too. I wish I could have gone. Shit.
I know. I should have gone, but I didn't want to be ready at 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Oh, well, shit, yeah, no.
But remember July the 11th, okay?
Yep.
We'll have to decide where we're going to go in Michigan, it's not Michigan City.
Right.
We're going to have to, because Amy's going to be that morning. Our office is meeting that morning. And she's supposed to meet us at the beach. So we'll all have to decide on where we want to go, you know, before this is done, so we can all pile in and go up there. You know, Amy's supposed to be there at 9 o'clock, so
Or we take it separate.
it lasts until 9, 12 or 1. And then, so we can, as long as we get up there before she gets out, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
So, think of something that sounds good to eat.
Pizza.
Food always sounds good to eat.
Oh yeah, I also got something for you. This is not outdated. It is medium roast, house maison. It's Starbucks coffee, and it's in those little packets.
Yes. All right. Cool.
That's a pantry.
It's what?
I got 3 packets of those.
Nice.
Plus, I don't know if there's one in there or if there's more than one in there. And then I got 1 packet of decaf.
Oh.
So, it's Seattle's best.
Oh, okay. Well, Seattle's best is, you know, Starbucks also.
Yeah, I know. So, anyway, and it's a full packet of finely ground coffee. I can still eat them. But the others are in those little packet things.
Yes, I like those little packet things. They're nice.
You just put the thing in your coffee pot, brew it.
Oh, one of those. It's not one of those instant thingies.
No, it's not one of the instant things.
Oh, I like those.
Like those?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will talk to you later.
I don't really have